Enhanced Expeditionary Airbase Simulation is a software tool designed to help airmen learn about the buildup and operation of an expeditionary airbase. The techniques used in this simulation are common to commercial computer games. This is a cooperative multiplayer game. The players are divided into several groups who must work together to manage the operations of a single airbase. They make many decisions about personnel allocation and facility placement. Each group is responsible for different squadrons. A scenario may take a few hours to finish, but the time it represents may cover several weeks. Players are scored during the scenario based on how well they address the problems of mission readiness, force protection, resources, and human factors. If you are hosting a game or starting a single-player game, you will identify the scenario file and the TipFid file for that scenario. The main game window consists of several distinct elements: the menu and resource bars, the tool and summary bars, the world panel, the jump map, the message panel, and the summary display panel. The world panel presents a 3D view of the airbase and its immediate surroundings. To pan the camera across the world, move the cursor over the scrolling frame present on each edge of the world map, or press the W, A, S, and D keys to pan in a given direction. Zoom the camera with the mouse wheel. Pitch and rotate the camera by holding down the right mouse button and moving the cursor, or by pressing the Q and E keys to rotate. The jump map shows a top-down view of the scenario world. The white wireframe indicates the position of the camera. Click anywhere on the jump map to jump the camera to that location. The simulation begins paused. Click the Continue button to resume the clock, and press the Escape key to pause time again. Key features have already been placed in the world: the airfield, water sources, the security entrance to the airbase, a road around the base perimeter, and a nearby town. Certain places on the airfield highlight when you move the cursor over them: the runway, a fueling area, and aircraft parking surfaces. Each of these areas or surfaces is upgradable. Vehicles and teams also appear on the airbase. Click on a structure, team, or vehicle to see information about that object in the summary display panel. At the very top of the screen is the menu bar. The info menu gives you access to the scenario's briefing and to each of the summary panels. There are also hotkeys for each summary panel. The View menu allows you to adjust the size of the jump map panel. The resource bar displays the current stockpiles. Red font indicates you have less than a 2-day supply, yellow font indicates a 2 to 4 day supply, and white font indicates a 4 or more day supply. The toolbar contains buttons and status displays. Click the TipFid button to open the TipFid scheduler to review, edit, or schedule new transports at any point during the game. The base population value is the number of personnel currently on the base. The total number of tasks is followed by the number of tasks that have lights. During the hours of darkness, if the number of tasks exceed the number of lights, then workers on those nighttime tasks are less efficient. The summary bar contains buttons for each summary display. Click on the Force Module button to see a list of required construction tasks to finish that Force Module. Part of your score depends on how well you complete all Force Module tasks. Units that can be used for facility construction appear in the UTCs on base display. They disappear from this list when their facility is built. The task summary lists all of the current tasks. Left-click on a task entry to see info about it. Right-click on a task to assign personnel teams or equipment to that task. The more teams and equipment you assign, the sooner it will finish. The resource summary shows the current supplies and storage capabilities. If you lack the storage space for resources that arrive on a transport, those resources are not delivered and your score is penalized. The team summary lists all of the teams who are currently on the base. A team represents 2 or more people in the same squadron who work together. Teams must be assigned to tasks to do work. Teams are restricted in what tasks they can work on, and each group has the responsibility to task different squadrons. Determine which squadrons you are responsible for and keep those teams efficiently tasked. Left-click on a team entry to view info about it. Hold the Shift key down while left-clicking on another team to select a series of teams. Right-click on the highlighted team to assign them to a task. You may adjust the MOPP or MOP, shift start time, and length of shift for the selected team. Click the Commit button to apply these changes. Be sure to increase the MOP level of any team you wish to assign to a decontamination task. The facility summary lists all of the structures currently placed. Their status is indicated with tooltips, values, and color backgrounds. Right-click on a facility to jump the camera to its location. Left-click on a facility entry to view more info about it, including possible upgrades. Each facility has 1 or more upgrades. An upgrade increases its capabilities or service. To upgrade a facility, select an upgrade entry from the list and click on the Upgrade button. This adds that task to the task summary, or a pop-up defines which units you need to start that upgrade. You will have to await the arrival of those units. The equipment summary lists all of the equipment, like vehicles, on the base. Left-click on an entry to view info about it. Hold the Shift key down while left-clicking on another entry to select a series of vehicles. Right-click on the highlighted entries to assign them to a task. You need 1 team to operate each piece of equipment you assign to a task, else that equipment remains idle. The Air Tasking Order Summary lists all of the current ATOs and the list of tasks associated with them. Each ATO has a launch time. You must complete all of that ATO's tasks before the launch time, else the mission is aborted, morale drops, and your score is penalized. The Aircraft Summary displays information about each aircraft on the base. Aircraft require maintenance, which are tasks for the aircraft maintenance teams. The Staff Summary displays information about staff personnel who are not represented by teams. The value next to the staff service indicates how many people that staff can support before the staff is stressed. To increase the service level of a staff, you must upgrade their facility. For squadrons that are represented by teams, you may globally adjust their MOP, shift start time, and shift length for all teams in the selected squadron. Click the Commit button to apply the change. Be sure to increase the MOP level of all squadrons if you expect a CBRN attack. The Security Summary displays information about the strength of insurgent threats in the surrounding quadrants. The higher the threat level, the greater the threat. Assign patrols to counter the threat in a given area. Convoys arrive through the southeast quadrant, and they are vulnerable to IED attacks, so be sure to patrol the southeast quadrant before their arrival. You can improve the trust level of a town's citizens by satisfying their requests for help and by contracting some supplies from them. The friendlier the citizens are, the less trouble you will have from insurgents. The Facility Construction Summary displays a list of buttons for each facility type you can build. The list does not include structures that are part of the runway, such as the base ops, or the base perimeter. For those structures, you must select the object in the world. When a facility is ready to be placed, its button background changes to green. To place a facility in the world, click that facility's button. Move the cursor to the location in the world where you want to place it. If the footprint is red, that location is not valid. Choose a valid location and left-click to place the facility there. A pop-up tells you that units are needed if they are not arrived yet. The scoring summary displays your current score in 4 separate areas. The last button is called Delete Mode. If you are not satisfied with a facility's location, click on this button to enter Delete Mode. Then, left-click on the facility to cancel its placement. You may not delete a facility that is already built. Click the Delete button again to exit Delete Mode. Messages generated by events and activities appear in the message panel. They are arranged chronologically. Scroll to view messages from earlier in the scenario. When an ATO is issued, a series of tasks are created that must be completed before the launch time of the ATO. A mission will fail to launch if one of its tasks is incomplete. If there are insufficient aircraft, jet fuel, munitions, or air crews, or if there is an ongoing fire operations task that prevents takeoffs. When strike aircraft return from a mission, another series of tasks are created which must be finished. You should now have a general understanding of how the game works. Please consult the player's manual if you have additional questions. Let's look at the TPFDD or TIPFID scheduler, which is used to create the time-phased force deployment data for a given scenario. Start by opening a scenario in the TIPFID scheduler. Notice how it populates the transport schedule with the names of several force modules. These force modules represent phases important to this scenario. Highlight any force module and the display lists the essential units and optional units for that module. Essential units are highly recommended for an efficient buildup, but they are not mandatory. Optional units include everything else. Each force module has a bulk budget, which is cargo measured in tons, and a PAX budget, which is the total number of passengers who may be transported within that module. Review the briefing for the scenario. You may create a new schedule from scratch, or you may open an existing schedule for review and modification. Let's open an existing schedule. The transport schedule tree expands to show a series of airlifter and convoy times. These times indicate when those transports will arrive at the base. Select any transport and its contents are displayed in the Transport Cargo panel. Each transporter has its own budget for bulk and PAX. To schedule a new transport, you must first select a force module. Then click on the Schedule Transport button. Select the transport type and the time you want it to arrive. Select that new transport and add UTCs from the essential and/or optional list. To edit the arrival time for a transport, click on the Edit Transport button. When you are satisfied with the TIPFID, save it. Then exit the scheduler.